What we'll do here today is look at what MYOB and Acumatica have been working on as they embed AI deeper into the product. I'll talk about the roadmap, show you what's already available, and end with a demo of some of the existing features. Our team was fortunate enough to attend the Acumatica Summit in Seattle, as Ronnie said, and it really did make it clear that Acumatica is shifting from a system of record to a system of intelligence and building AI directly into everyday processes. For example, anomaly detection, automated lookups, and contextual insights that appear right on the screens that you're using every day within Acumatica. On my screen in the left panel are the features that are already released and available to you now in release 2025, release 1. So you already have access to, or could have access to, anomaly detection to surface unusual values in your data, intelligent text, which learns your writing style and suggests how to complete your sentences, and the long-awaited AP document recognition, which automatically reads supplier invoices and creates AP documents. And associated with this is expense receipt recognition on the mobile as well. So these are real practical AI tools that reduce manual effort immediately. When we move to the center panel on the slide, you'll see that in the next release, some upcoming capabilities include the cross-sales assistant to suggest new sales opportunities, and the production variance anomaly detection to flag unusual variances on the shop floor. Then the following release, 2026 release 1, is the start of this AI assistant experience, which will allow users to interact with Acumatica using natural language. So instead of clicking through menus, you just simply ask for what you need. And it'll reduce the amount of time you spend hunting for screens, setting up filters, and it'll give you more time to get answers to your questions. The AI assistant features will be augmented over future releases, evolving into what was the major theme of the conference this year, the MCP server. MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. And it's easiest to think of it as a universal connector that connects Acumatica safely with your chosen large language model, LLM, tool such as Claude, ChatGPT, or Copilot. So it will provide a standardized way to access data from within Acumatica and via AI clients from without, while keeping governance and security right at the center. So that's a lot of words about what it's going to be. Let's take a dive into the future. So there were some early previews shown at the Acumatica Summit, and here is one of them. And this is an introduction to the AI assistant and what it might look like. You can see here that there's a screen opened out of Acumatica. It's sitting on top. And near the bottom is an Ask Me Anything box. So in there, a user can ask any natural question like, what are our top 5 selling products? Or show me open orders. And at the summit, they even showed an example of the AI assistant using predicted weather information from outside of Acumatica to provide a full risk assessment for the next day's scheduled field service appointments. So this type of conversational interface will make the system more intuitive and reduce time spent navigating menus or building filters. Here's another example from the summit. This one shows the AI summary capability. The idea is that with one click from a screen, a pre-built prompt can run behind the scenes, and in this case, for an opportunity, it can classify the customer's mood and generate a quick summary of the opportunity's activity log and suggest some next steps. The idea is that it will reduce time for the salesperson, reduce manual effort, and help that salesperson to get the key points about that opportunity much quicker. So you can see on the left is the standard opportunity screen, and on the right panel is the AI summary. So sitting behind this is an LLM prompt, so a large language model prompt. This is obviously a new feature that will come into Acumatica. This particular prompt is called Oppo Summary. And in the pane on the left, you can see that there are some instructions. Now, you enter the instructions to instruct it to what you want it to do. In this set of instructions, there are 3 groups. There's context instructions, instructions about the input data to be used, and then how the results are to be presented. And in the right frame is a preview of what it looks like. So you can perfect those instructions till you're getting what you want on the right. And then once you save that, it will then be available for use in this case, the opportunity screen that we just saw on the previous slide. So this is what Acumatica is in the process of building. It shows how quickly things are moving and how much easier it will become to automate tasks, guide processes, and streamline work. Okay, back to the present. The features that are already available in the current release, 2025 release 1, are anomaly detection, intelligent text, AP document recognition, and expense receipt recognition in the mobile app. So these are high impact, practical features designed to remove manual effort. Intelligent text is, the idea with that is that it will suggest text as the user types into any rich text editor field. Initially, it'll start with just polite built-in phrases, but then over time, it will learn from the user's own writing style and build a personalized machine learning model for every user. It will improve its suggestions based on the user's actual wording and context, thereby helping users to write faster and to stay consistent in their tone and style. Here's an example of intelligent text in action. It shows how the feature can suggest wording as you type in. So down the bottom of this email, in the body of it, the user started to type in, have you try, and then it's come up with a list of suggested endings to that sentence or phrase. Select the one you want, tab forward, and it saves you a whole lot of typing. So this feature is available in any rich text field, such as in an email, in cases, item descriptions, activities, or tasks. The next one that's currently available is anomaly detection, and this detects values that fall outside of normal patterns and then will label them. So it'll label those as either normal, a medium, or significant anomalies, and highlight those so that you can very quickly see the records that need attention. How this works is that it sits next to generic inquiries. So you have an existing generic inquiry, which would normally present a set of rows to the screen. In this case, before it presents those results, they go from the left of the screen across into the AI engine that you see here on the right. The anomalies are calculated, and then those results are passed back and then presented to the screen with the anomalies in them as well. So what I'll do now is I'll switch over to a real live session and show you a couple of examples of anomaly detection. So first off, I have a generic inquiry here that is called invoiced items. And you can see below that there are some options here: show anomaly settings, filter by group, detect anomalies. This generic inquiry is listing a whole bunch of invoiced items, and I'll just show you what the settings are for this particular one. you can see here that the field for analysis is the unit price. And there's a grouping by inventory ID, which I've defined, saying I might want to just look at all the records for a particular inventory item. And the update frequency is on demand. That means it hasn't been scheduled to run automatically, but rather for me to choose when I want to run it. So these rows that are in yellow have not yet been through the anomaly detector because I haven't run it. So they're just highlighted in yellow, and you can see that they don't have any values in the right-hand side of the column. If we go down to subsequent rows, though, you can see most of them are just a normal shading, and there are a couple of them that are in red. So the first one in red, if you look at in the middle, the unit price column, you can see it's got a price of 99,000. Which is quite a high price for this particular item. And in other rows, you can see that the unit price for that item is 2,400. So it's picked up that the normal price for that item is 2,400 and that there's a massive difference of 96,600. It's therefore said that the anomaly severity is significant for that row and highlighted it in red. Now, what can I do with that row? One of the things I could do is I could review it and say, yep, I'm happy with that. It really should be like that. And I could click reviewed. And I also have an option to say that make a comment so that I can see it's been reviewed and I'm happy with it. And in subsequent views, it won't be highlighted as an anomaly because I've reviewed it. In this case, I don't think I would. That does look pretty bizarre, but I have the option there. And our second row that's highlighted most of the way down the screen, I'll just highlight it here, has a medium. In this case, the unit price is 0, where normally it would be 2,400. In this case, yes, I could review it, do the same as the other one, but I'm more likely to click on the hyperlink and go in and update that invoice to have the correct unit price in it. If I just jump over to another example, this one here is a sales order margin analysis, and I'll just clear the filter. So this one, I can see all records, or I've got a view just for anomalies. You can see again that ideally I would detect the anomalies. But before I do that, I'll just show you what the basis of this one is. See here, it's the analysis field is the margin %, and I've got a grouping by customer. And again, it's on demand. So what I would typically do is click on detect anomalies, and I'll actually do that now and just show you that I have about 5 different, I've got 5 different generic inquiries here set up with anomaly detection. I can process all or process just the one I've selected, or I'm more likely to schedule it to run on a scheduled basis. But back looking at these, so I know that it's actually looking at this margin % column, which is 4th from the right. And where the margin is below, there are 3 rows where the margin is less than what is desirable, somewhere probably around 45%. So they are highlighted as medium anomalies, and I can go in and take a look at them and correct them. Or alternatively, same thing, review and comment. The filter by group, this one's by customer. So I could, for the row I'm on, it's saying, okay, I'll just show you all of the rows for this specific customer. So anomaly detection is there to help you spot data errors, process exceptions and outliers, and make sure that you detect any business issues very quickly. How are anomalies classified? Basically, the algorithm first finds from the main cluster, i.e. the bulk of the normal data, and calculates how spread out these values are using the standard deviation formula. So any values with a standard deviation of less than or equal to 3 plus or minus 3 standard deviations are categorized as normal. Anything with a standard deviation between 3 and 10 are marked as medium, and anything with more than 10 standard deviation are flagged as significant. Some examples, well, we've already seen, it could highlight unexpected sales margins, supplier price changes or purchase order cost spikes, production variances, unusual financial balances or transaction volumes, days to pay, employee utilization, billed versus total, or anything else that is helpful to your business. So next, what I will show you is the use of AI to automatically check your inbox for supplier invoices and to create AP bills automatically. So just going back to our system. Now this time, the screen is a new screen into this current release, 2025 R1, and it sits in the payables menu. Here I'm showing all records, but typically I'd probably go in and be looking at pending processed or processed. So processed ones, I can look up any previous one that's been processed and click on the hyperlink. Or click on the document itself and open that up. But the pending processed is where I'll mostly work. I've got 4 in here. Typically it wouldn't be 4 identical, but I've just done that for the purpose. Anything that is, any supplier invoices that are emailed into the standard email inbox will automatically appear in here. However, if something comes in via non-standard route, then I can easily just drag and drop it over onto the screen and it will appear. So there you can just see my one's appeared. There are some options up here. I can select one row and recognize it, or recognize all, or I can open up a document and recognize it inside the document itself. When I open up this new document, on the right-hand side, here is the PDF that was sent to me into the inbox. And if I click recognize, then the system will go through and pick up all the salient information. Now, the very first time you receive an invoice from a customer, it might not find everything, and it's easy for you to add a value into here. And I'll show you an example of doing that here. So let's say I want something to appear in the description. I'm going to choose the sales order number, and you can see it's populated that there and it's highlighted in green. If it picks up something not the one I want, for example, I'd rather have the shipment number, then I just click on that and it'll change it. Then the system remembers that for next time. So you can see it's picked up various different details. It's picked up the date of the invoice, highlighted in green over here on the right, and the due date. If there wasn't a due date on here, it would pull in the due date or use the customer terms, credit terms in our a supplier master record. And if I click on the amount, you can see it's pulled in the amount from down the bottom. Below here are 2 lines that it has pulled in, and they relate to these 2 lines in the order. And if I click on here, hopefully, yeah, it will show it in green, the quantity, the unit price, and the extended cost. So it's pulled all those values in. Now, this supplier product code, ITM 999, if that's already set up in against the item master, then it will automatically pick up the correct inventory ID. Let's say it's the very first time that comes in, then you can select that inventory ID in here. And then what it'll do is it'll then associate it and create that cross-reference in against the item master. Across here on the right, you can see it's picked up the purchase order number and the purchase order receipt. If there happen to be, say, 2 purchase orders or 2 purchase order receipts for the same item for this customer, then you can use the link PO line and select which one applies to this particular document. So I'm now happy with everything on here. It's as easy as save and continue. and it will take all of this information and create a bill and adjustment. So here's my bill and adjustment already populated with all the information. So the processes of recognizing and creating the bills can be automated, or it can be manual, as you've seen. There are some do's and don'ts when it comes to AP automation. It is really helpful to set up non-stop codes because that means it can be mapped into the system, and it also means that then the supplier IDs can be automatically set up in the cross-reference so that it can then be quickly mapped in. It's important though that the supplier item codes don't contain spaces or characters. At the moment, the mapping to existing projects in the system isn't available, but it is on the roadmap, and we're looking forward to when that arrives. So that's the end of my presentation of the AI features inside Acumatica. I hope it's whetted your appetite for what's coming in the future, but also encouraged you to use those features in the existing release 2025 R1. And if you don't have access to them, then just reach out to your consultant and they can turn the access on for you. And don't forget,